1, 2. Okay. Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Hear you. Fantastic. That makes a change. Is that what it is it? I didn't know. I didn't know there was. Well, I imagine it. I don't even know there's a Saint Coughlan. Yeah. You missed out the apostrophe. Are we tracking? No. I'm trying to keep myself as in as good a mood as possible. Lewis, you have the ability, don't you, to do this yourself? I'll tell you what, Lewis, for this stream, or as long as I'm going, you can be the official Dick Coughlan live stream Brexit correspondent. You are Peter O'Hanrahan reporting live from Redditch. So if anything interesting happens, how does that sound? He didn't like it, but he had. Ich, Nickton, Lickton. On anyone else, that shirt. I'd like to think that it's daft on me, quite frankly. I certainly don't hope you're taking me seriously. You know. Anyway. I haven't watched it. See, I would happily play some stuff. I would happily play the Brexit debate live, but then if I did, I'd get fucking copyright strike because we're not allowed to. I don't know, PC mode. I'm not talking about wrestling. Okay. I was going to have this on my. Is something fucking YouTube have snuck in. I was going to have this on my main channel, but my live streaming privileges have been revoked, even though I've got no copyrights. I've got no strikes on my channel. Got no strikes on it. No copyright violate, nothing. But they've just revoked. PC mode, could you stop? Just. If you like Yorkshire pudding, then we're Toad in the Hole, because Toad in the Hole is Yorkshire pudding, except you get sausages with it. So why would you not go for... Ugh. Anyway, there's two. Isn't there two votes from Parliament first? They've got to have the vote for the delay thing, and then they've got to have the... Hello, Yasin. They've got to have the vote for the delay, and then the vote for... I did like... There was a post on Facebook saying... there was a post on Facebook that said like, you know, how to explain to someone who doesn't understand this, like the difference between, you know, the difference between Theresa May's Brexit deal and Boris Johnson is like, it's the same way I get my 3-year-old daughter, you know, to eat cucumber sticks. So do you want some cucumber sticks? She goes, no. It's like, do you want some super magic Hulk green magic sticks? And she's like, yes. No. See, I fear. So I want this to go on forever. You know, I want this to go on forever. Do you know why? Because I'm scared that we've been talking about this. This is consumed. I like that. It's like, you know, when you have like a piece of technology, like, you know, when you try and think back to what did we do before we had our phones, you know, or like, what did we do before the internet? I can't remember, you know. It's like, you know that I think it's that, you know, I think it's that, you know, it's like we're not going to know what to do. We're going to like, what did we talk about? Yes, but that's the sad thing, isn't it? I mean, on any other fucking, you know. Now, we didn't talk about that. That's the thing. We didn't talk about that that lasted about, no one cared about that. That was just a bit of fun for like a few days. No, Corbyn's a leaver. There's no. I do know, Alex. Funnily enough, you know. Interesting that. I'm now banned from posting on all 4 Facebook accounts. I've got 4 Facebook accounts. I'm now banned from posting on any of them. Is it mostly Rupert Murdoch owned? Well, I don't know. I don't know what he actually. Well, I mean, he owns the most popular one, which is the Sun, which is the most popular English language daily newspaper in the world. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, he owns. He owns the Sun, the Times, and the Sunday Times. So no, not most of it. But I don't know, PCMO. Why don't you ask him? As far as I'm aware, he's basically made it clear that there will be consequences for anyone who votes for this deal. I mean, there's no point asking me what someone else's fucking thing, you know. He owns Sky, but the thing about Sky is like, you know, is like there's lots of stuff. He doesn't control everything that's on Sky. I mean, like he can own the Sky. Like, I mean, because like the Sky, if you get Sky, that means you've got all the channels, and that includes lots of channels. That, I mean, he doesn't own the individual channels. He owns the. It isn't just big; it's large. Can you sum it up in a phrase? How about a sound? The history books will have to be rewritten here. What will it say? Well, it will simply say Boris Johnson punched the Queen. Everything else will be a footnote. Hold on. Hello. I'm currently streaming live on my other channel. I'll leave a link below. Pop along if you feel like it. There you go. Right, let's upload that. Hello. There you go. There you go. Let's upload that. Why are we not on Twitch? Because I can't. Because my computer's slow. Does it matter? We're here. My computer's slow and it was fucking annoying me. So, you know. Bronze it. How would you know, Lewis? The thing is, when I here's the thing with Patreon. When I started doing it, like a couple of years ago, when I sort of started taking, like, it became a main source of income, I actually did do a couple of things, like, you know, sort of exclusive, like daily vlog stuff that was exclusive to Patreon, but no cunt watched it. I mean, literally, like, I would share the videos and like 12 people would watch it out of. Back then, it was like 160 odd people who were on. So you kind of just like, you know, what's the fucking point? You should get some more stand-up gigs. I did a stand-up gig last week. Actually, I just booked myself in for 3 dates in Brighton next year. I've got to sort out and pay for. I'll be there. Great, brilliant. I'll cancel them immediately. Do I get paid for these gigs? Well, hopefully I'll earn some money from them if I get enough audience in, yeah. I know there are protests in London. Alex, can you stop telling me stuff that I clearly already know? I know there are protests in London. There's protests in London every fucking day. I know there's protests in London at the moment. Hey, I've got the trousers and the shoes and the jacket to match. However, before I do something, it is something quite cool. I was last week. I went along to the local theatre, and they were doing auditions for this, which is an Alan Ayckbourn play called Confusions, and I went along to the auditions, and I got two. Yeah, I got 2 parts. So he's a clever boy then. So I'll be doing it. So I'll be doing. I'll be going along to weekly rehearsals for that, and the plays are in from the 21st to the 25th of January, and then they're hopefully going to go and take the play to the Leicester festival, which yeah 2 parts. Yeah. It's a play. It's 4 plays. Well, the original is actually 5 plays within. Is actually 5 plays within one, but they're all sort of intertwined. Yeah, and they're all sort of intertwined. And I play a character called Harry, who's a guy in his late 30s who's drunk in a hotel lobby, trying to chat up 2 women unsuccessfully who are much too young for him. I don't know how I got that role. And the other one is a guy called Gosforth, who has been shagging this young woman who's married and has got her pregnant, who's much too young for him. Again, I don't know how I managed to pull these off. This is a comedy. No, it's not a comedy gig. It's a fucking play. Yeah. So I'm basically playing. Yeah. At least I'm not a serial killing, homeless drug addict. Now that makes a change. I can add this. This is a first for me. I'm just a sleazy old perv. I can pull that off. You're probably right, Hobbs. There is no paedophile in the play. I love a bit of shit. I used to have. I've probably still got it back at home. I had the complete works of Shakespeare in one book. It's literally about that thick. But what's your favourite? What's your favourite Shakespeare play? Midsummer Night's Dream. See, I'm more of a Titus Andronicus kind of guy. Yeah, and also the text, even though it's about that thick, the text is microscopic. So it's like one play for every 8 pages. It takes you like 4 years to get on each page. Well, actually, Titus Andronicus ties into one of my favorite South Park episode, which if you've ever seen the episode where with Scott Tenorman in it, where Cartman tricks Scott Tenorman into cooking and eating his own parents in a chili cook-off. That entire episode is based on the storyline from Titus Andronicus. And the reason they did it is because they were obviously getting, this was like when South Park was still relatively new and it was quite popular, and they were getting a lot of flack from the moral majority crowd. So they thought, we're going to do an episode based on a Shakespeare play, right? And then when people complain, we'll say, well, this is based on a Shakespeare play that your kids, and I bet if your kids were reading Titus Andronicus or Shakespeare, you wouldn't be complaining about it, but you complain about it when it's in South Park episode, which makes it, it's a great point. Did I see El Camino? Of course I saw El Camino. I saw it, literally I was there refreshing Netflix. Oh, Hunt Shift, and I saw you on. Thought was talking about. Well, thank you very much, Joey. Thoughts? I thought it was fine. I thought, simple review of it is, if you watched Breaking Bad and you liked it, you'll probably like this. If you didn't watch Breaking Bad, or you did and you didn't like it, I wouldn't bother, because you won't understand what the fuck's going on. I think the problem with it was, people were expecting something monumental or twist to happen, and they couldn't, and it didn't. And I think the other problem with it is it's too, Breaking Bad moved at such a slow pace. I mean, it was a 6-year TV series that covered a 2.5-year period. So, like, when Breaking Bad ended, it was 2016 or 2015. But of course, by the time, but of course, in terms of the show, it was only 2010. So when you've only got a 2-hour film, you can't really, spoil the pacing. You can't really make it move too fast, because that's going to spoil the pacing it's come to. But they, when you look at it, it's like it was what it was. Really, I think it's just, I think it was just tying a sort of like bow around. I mean, for me, I think the most interesting, the most interesting character in the show that I never sort of like this, I don't understand or don't get is Todd. It's like I don't understand. It's like, is there something wrong with him? Is he a bit slow, or is he just, does he not get, or is he just, does he have a sense of residual guilt? So what is it? Because I just can't work that character out. No, I haven't seen Joker yet. I will do eventually. I'm sure it'll be fine. I think like I said, I think with a Joker, a lot of the hype is just, it's that it was people. It's almost like the media were acting as if, like, they wanted this to. I've heard of The Quartering. I don't watch you. That they were trying to fucking It's like the media were trying to stir something up. But it's not gold on the inside. It's just a cotton. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were almost. It was almost like the media was sort of like saying. The media were almost saying, you know, hey, do you want to, you know, hey, if you need an excuse, if you need, hey, if you want, do you want to commit a shooting? Are you a frustrated, lonely basement dwelling white male? Do you want to? Yeah, because here's a great excuse. You know, I mean, they were literally, you know, they were literally sort of saying this was like, you know, oh, this is going to stir up, and I'm like, you're not helping. You know. Napalm! Oh my God. Matt, how you doing, buddy? Everybody, it's napalm. I normally get asked at least every live stream what happened to napalm. And I'm always like, don't know, haven't heard from him. And here he is. Who is napalm? The guy above you whose username is literally something napalm. Who is napalm? You need to do your fucking. Oh, you need to learn to respect the OGs who came before you, my friend. This fucking site was built on the backs of people like that man there. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Matt. You don't mind if I smoke, do you? You know, should I put this out? Because I never know. I never know the protocol. I'm going to carry on. Right. But I'm not enjoying it. Yeah, just want to be clear. No, let's not, Alex, because there's nothing to talk. There's no point in talking about it. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, there's nothing to talk about. I've seen some AEW. I'm not watching NWA because there's only so many hours in the fucking day. Just a reminder, by the way, it's my birthday on Wednesday. Because it's not the deal he wanted. Why do you keep asking me why Corbyn? I don't fucking know. Because he doesn't want that deal. I'll give me a tenner on Wednesday. Okay, thanks very much. You can give me a tenner whenever you like, mate. You don't have to, Everyone give me a tenner on Wednesday. Are we 20? Are we, You get paid on Wednesday. Fair enough. The speaker, order! Order! Yeah, about that. Demonic rab. Oh, fuck that. Car drives past window in town. It's probably about 12, but put 15 in just in case. See, this is the thing. I actually, because I get paid in US dollars on Patreon, the fact that the value of the pound has dropped to the dollar means I've actually made more money with the pound dropping. But when we finally leave, so I'm like shorting on the pound at the moment in my own little way, But when we leave, the value's going to go up slightly. No, the pound will go. The pound is supposed to go. The pound will go up slightly. If once the sort of once the deal is done, whether it will go back. I mean, about 3-4 years ago, it was like 60p to the dollar, and now it's about 80p. All of my knowledge of economics comes from PayPal transactions. That's basically it. Basically, getting money from PayPal transactions is all I know about economics and finance. No, I shouldn't do an open university course. I don't really want to. Well, sex workers tend not to have adverts. I mean, I'll have to ask Sargon about that. Oh! Burn! Sargon walking in the massage parlor like, what? Yes, I'm just like George Soros. Yeah. Does it look mad, or does it just look like a load of people? Motherfucker. It's not mad that so many people are there. It's fucking kind of obvious. You know? It's kind of like the most important thing at the moment, so. I don't care whether you disagree. You're off the fruit. Good for you.
People are angry, but they can't explain why.
Hello, sir, and why are you here today?
I'm here to protest.
I'm going on a march because I want Britain to be about British. I want Britain to be about British. I'm going on a march because I want Britain to be about British. I want Britain to be about British. Got interracial law, the Muslimic infidel. They're trying to get their law down on our country. And it's happening, it's happening, it's happening in other countries. It's happening in other countries like you got Muslimic ray guns. Muslimic ray guns. It's like Muslimic ray guns. Ray guns. Muslimic ray guns. Muslimic ray guns. Muslimic ray guns. Ray guns. Classic. not exactly a socialist. Well, it's not about. Yes, you know, it isn't a socialist institution, right? But having the Tories in power. Also, there's nothing stopping you being a socialist country and being a member of the EU. No one's saying the EU is perfect. That doesn't mean leaving it is a good idea. Also, not everyone on the left, by the way, is necessarily socialist. So being left wing doesn't you know. But here's the thing: at the moment, you do realise if there was a general election now, based on polls, you do know who'd win that? Boris Johnson. Right? I'm not saying you can't be critical of the EU. I'm not saying that. This is not. It's like what are we going to be left with? I'm looking at the reality. You know. Listen, and don't get me wrong. I know people. A lot of people say this, you know, and you know, you can take this for what it's worth. I want to be so wrong about everything on this, right? I honestly want to be wrong, right? I would want nothing more than for us to leave, than for all of the unicorns to fucking, you know, to fucking, you know, come and for everything to get better. And if everything gets better, I will put my hands up and say, you know, because we're all in it together, you know, because you know, we're all in the same boat, you know. So believe me when I say this, if you know, if and when whatever the fuck happens, we're not going to be changing from pounds to euros. It's not going to happen. That's not even a fucking issue at the moment. I don't even know why. Yeah. It's not, the EU did not invent the fucking problem with the Irish backstop. That existed, you know. That's been the main. Let's be realistic. That's been the main. I mean, you could argue the same is true of you know the United States. I mean, it's deliberately written in to it that it makes it harder. That it's, you know. Does anyone else want to? Not at the moment, no. I mean, obviously, lots of people want to. I mean, it depends what you mean. I mean, if you mean in... I'm not really... I mean, to me, it's like I'm not really interested in... no. Well, in other countries, no. Why do I love the EU so much? It's not a case of loving the EU, my friend. You know, I happen to think, you know, that that unions and countries working together and being, it's a good, it's a good thing. You know, it's not a case of if loving the EU so much. It's just at the moment, the alternative, you know, is not preferable. You know. Am I a Maoist? No. The EU has not made this country more right-wing, my friend. This country, you're right, has become, because EU doesn't bullshit, because EU doesn't every country, it just shoots what, but okay, well, you say that, my friend. Well, good for you. It just does what Germany, okay, yeah, you're right. Belgium and Germany, it just does what they want. No. Okay, whatever, my friend. Yes, but you say you don't want that, but are you going to get that because we're out of the EU? Do you think the Tory party, who are the party who are going to win that, do you think that, do you think that they are going to fucking unprivatize everything because we're out of the EU? Do you think that's going to happen? You think the Tory party, who are going to be the ones in power, do you think they're going to unprivatize the train system because we're out of the EU? They won't, mate. Not based on every fucking poll that's been happened. They won't lose the next election. Not in Britain, but in your country. Right? Well, I live in Britain, mate. Right? Right. So I can only talk. So obviously, I'm not going to speak for your country, but I'm talking about. I'm obviously going to be talking about my country because that's EU want to get rid of British Army if Britain kept in. Of course they do, mate. Of course they do. They want to get rid of the British Army. That's obviously going to happen. Yes. Hey, John. That's what they wanted to have. one European army. Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, this whole European army thing, I've heard this. If you leave and they still form a European army, that means there's this massive army that we're not a part of. Why do you not want to be a part? Why would you want to have this massive army that you're no longer a part of? I.e., an army that could be against you. They don't want to form an EU army. It's bullshit. No, I just like someone to tell me, okay, first of all, this whole thing about an EU army and them dissolving the British army, it's horseshit. Right? No, it hasn't. I'm not saying that, Alex. Jesus Christ almighty. Who said it's horseshit? I did, just now. Literally just now. I said it. Right? Who said it's true? Please show me. Can anyone else say it's horseshit just for the benefit of Jesus Barbie come here? Oh, thank you, PC Mo. There you go. He said it's horseshit too. I don't care what people talked about. It's not. Macron talked about it. Oh, that's it then, isn't it? You aren't obliged to do anything. Yeah. Do I get disability payments? No. I don't know why you're bringing that up. They are not going to dissolve the British army. This whole conversation is just, you know. Actually, I've just got into Peaky Blinders. Yeah. Maybe not now, but in 30 years. Oh, I see. So maybe not now, but in 30 years time. So again, you don't know. So again, you're just maybe. So you've got nothing. You've got nothing. Thank you. But the territorial army is a bit different than the army, you know. If UK stayed in it, we would be forced to switch it. No, we wouldn't. Oh, shit. Yeah, but you won't be forced to switch to the euro. We won't be forced, you know. Yeah, the corona was my. I know the corona was my first lesson in. But every other country in the EU uses euro. Why wouldn't Britain? You know. What do you mean? Why wouldn't we? We've been a member of the EU for how long, and we haven't switched to the euro. And the pound's been more valuable than been stronger than the euro all that time. Why would you're saying why wouldn't we? We haven't, and we haven't. We don't have to. All right, Sethi. But we weren't officially in the EU for all this time. We weren't officially in the EU for all this time. The vote was with. We weren't officially in the EU. We haven't been in the EU this whole time. I mean, No, don't worry, Marcus. You know, gone are the good old days. See, in the good old days, we say our politicians were still shit and we hated them, but at least they acted. At least they, they spoke properly. And why was there a vote if we were in? It wasn't a vote if we were in. It was a vote if we remain. You can't remain in something that you aren't already a part of. It was remain or leave, wasn't it? It wasn't in or out. It wasn't in or not in. It was if we weren't already in, then remain would have been the winning vote because they'd have voted to stay out of it. It wasn't to see if we're going to go in or not. It was remain. That's why they called it remain. That's why it was the remain. That's why people who were in favour of it are called remainers, because they wanted to remain. Fuck my arse. Remotely, yes, call me Ramonas. I don't care. Yes, I am moaning. I find it weird that people fucking use that as a term, as if British people. That's what British people do best. Who's worse, Johnson or Trump? Well, it depends, really. It depends what way you look at it. Trump is Johnson with a brain. You know that phrase, if you had a brain, you'd be dangerous. Well, Boris Johnson is Trump with a brain. Who's more effective? Oh, both of them. Trump's more a force of nature. He just sort of does shit. But with Johnson, it's all sort of, it's all planned and he knows what he's doing. He's not, he's not an idiot. He likes to play that part, he likes to play, and when he's hosting, when he's on television on like panel shows, he's very funny and he's very charming and witty and affable, and I would have liked it if he'd stayed there. I'm glad we are out of the fucking. We're not out of the EU. See now, Jesus. But I'm just going to ask you: are you trolling? Because we're not out of the EU yet. We're still in the EU, right? We haven't left the EU yet, right? Have you actually got? But you didn't even know. Apparently, we were in it. We are leaving. Yeah, but I know you just said, I'm glad we're out. We haven't left yet. We may very well be leaving. Oh, we're leaving now, are we? I thought we weren't in it. How can we leave something that we weren't in? No, I know we were in. No. We weren't in somewhat. You didn't. You said, and I quote, the vote, the referendum was to see whether we join in or not. We were in. We were as in as every other country. We were as in as the 27 other countries. You can't fucking backtrack on that, my friend. We've got it written. It's in the chat. Well, you say that, Lewis, but my username on here is insane rat bloke. I mean, let's not be harsh here. What does it matter now? What does it matter? It matters that you, my friend, did not even know we were in the European Union. Right? And you're sitting here trying to tell me that you're glad to be leaving something that you didn't even know until about 2 seconds ago that we were out of. And who's this we? Stop saying we. Own your own fucking opinions. I was quoting Anne Widdecombe. Oh, Anne Widdecombe! Oh, Anne Widdecombe. Well, there you go. I mean, a woman who thinks that being gay is a disease. What are you quoting Anne Widdecombe for? If that's your opinion, say it. So do you agree with it or not? Then fucking own it. I mean, Anne Widdecombe's a great source of fucking information. A woman who thinks that fucking being gay is a disease that science can cure. No, you can say he's a troll, but that's just giving him a bit too much credit. Maybe he's just a moron. Doesn't mean she's wrong about everything. And doesn't mean she's right about everything too. You have to actually assert that. So do you agree with her? Yes or no? I'm asking you. I don't want to discuss Anne Widdecombe's opinions. But yeah, you support. If you want to, that's the sort of person you want to support. You go with it. This is great banter. It really is. Agree with her on what? The fucking quote you posted for her, you fucking marrow-faced pillock. Tell me some things she's right about. Yeah. Apart from thinking that gay people have a disease. You don't know. Exactly. You don't know. You don't know, do you? You don't know. Feelings. You want no deal. Brilliant. You don't want to give the EU. You do know that, you Jesus Christ. You want no money because you don't want to give the EU more money. How much money is that? You do know when you have no deals, that means you've got nothing coming in. No trade agreements for things like food, for things like medicine. We can trade with America and Australia. Yes, America and Australia. We do lots of trading for food with them, won't we? We can still trade. We could trade with America and Australia and still be part of the EU and still trade with all of them as well. We're going to do all our trading with Australia and America now. Just that's it. Just no one else. There is no WTO deal. That's another unicorn that's been shot down that no one even bothers. Yeah. You know why it's easier to trade from with the European, because they're closer. It's the same reason why when I want to go shopping, I go to Sainsbury's over there. I don't walk all the way to Leicester and then walk all the way back because it's closer. It's just behind my house. We are EU trying to hold Northern Ireland. Can you try and write that into a coherent sentence? It's not Northern Ireland, my friend. It's not the EU. If they had our best interest, they wouldn't treat us like this. Oh, diddums. It's not the EU's fault that the Good Friday Agreement exists, is it? That's not the EU's fault. Like, we can't just give Northern Ireland away, Alex. Can we please stick to the realms of reality? We can't just give. That's a good point, Christoph. Yeah. I would, yeah, but you're not PM, so again, can we stick to? No, the Tories backstabbed Johnson. Oh, brilliant. What do you mean the Tories backstabbed Johnson? He's still leader of the Tory party. He was voted in power. He was voted by members, by Tory party members. Right? That wasn't the question you were asked. So you think Boris Johnson has your and my best interests in mind? You trust Boris Johnson? That's the question, because he's the one in power. You know, do you trust possibly one of the most universally untrustworthy people currently in fucking politics? It's not what I asked you, Jesus. Okay. Nigel Farage is not in power. You were not asked about that. Stop trying to fucking dodge the question. Answer the question. Yeah, that's true, actually. He wants to delay Brexit too. Are you aware of that, Jesus? That Boris Johnson is not happy. I did, but we will see what I'll see what happens there. You're not answering the question, Jesus. Do you trust Boris Johnson? The guy who will be in charge of this country solely, right? Who will be running this country once we leave, assuming we leave on the 31st of October. You can say no. It's okay. That would at least, you know. I trust him as PM. You trust him as PM, but not. Right. So you're glad to be. You know, so what do you mean you don't trust? What don't you trust about his Brexit deal? Yeah, you don't trust him. What, you know? You're glad to be leaving, even though the guy in charge who's getting the deal is the one who's you don't trust him on. You don't trust him on Brexit, but you're glad to be leaving on a deal that the guy you don't trust, the guy you have, you know, the guy you don't trust, you know. I mean, who did this to you? How do you end up in this position? Depends what his well, of course it depends what his fucking intentions are. That's not an answer. You just said you trust him as PM, which means clearly you trust that his intentions are good. Which, by the way, can I just remind everyone in here that Jesus Barbie come here didn't even know that we were in the EU until about 10 minutes ago. He was arguing that we weren't even in the EU. He thought the referendum was, shall we join the EU or not? Right? So this is, you know, yes, that's a good point. Boris Johnson did write an article saying we should stay in the EU, as well as one saying we should leave, and published it the day after. And after the referendum results, he published the one saying we should leave. He literally changed his mind the day of the referendum result. Let's not pretend. Let's not assume anything, Firemouth. Let's just assume that he's. Let's just take him at face value, shall we? This is Schrodinger's troll. Okay, it doesn't matter. I don't know who the Australian. I don't know who you're referring to. Yeah, see. E, brilliant. That's the most coherent answer you've given so far. Just the letter E. See, this is where my respect and admiration for talk radio DJs goes up, because this is why. Boris was hyping no deal all this time, only to now come out with this deal that Nigel Farage doesn't like. So, oh, you're hopeful. Actually, Boris Johnson wasn't hyping no deal all along. You know. Yeah. You're hopeful. Again, feelings. Oh, that guy. To be fair, it wasn't that he did, you know, I think he just worded it badly. He didn't I don't think he actually, you know. It took a while. It was quite a while after the referendum that before no deal even became an option. It is feels over. It is. It's feelings. It's all. I'm hopeful. I believe. You know. I've got. You know. Hey, Mark. How's it going, brother? Yeah. Hey, Scotty. You've been here for ages, Scotty. Did I not say hello when you came in? I apologise. Nigel Farage says Boris deal is 95%, and I think that's too high. Okay, you can't even spell Nigel Farage. You've misspelled his name every single time. You've typed his name out 4 times now. Do you only go by what Nigel Farage tells you? Do you not? Can you not? You know? Can you not think for yourself? Do you have to sort of listen to what Nigel? Do you have to listen to what he says? But Lewis, how could we have followed any EU law, when that's the spelling that was saved on my phone? It's the spelling that was saved on your phone because you constantly spell it wrong. That's what phones do. If you misspell something over and over again, it will assume that that's the word you want to spell. Two small hand towels. Two small hand towels. We can't crush, we can't make squash grapes with our feet. Fish and chips wrapped up in newspaper. Bendy bananas. And do you know who started the bendy banana? Boris Johnson. Am I okay after the scam? No. Yeah, Greek yogurt, Nigerian tomatoes, fish, blue passports, all of them. No, Jesus. Which one? Name one, then. Just name one. You say all of them. Okay, name one. Just name one. African corn, yeah. African corn falls from the sky. No, because you're going to say this is racist. No, I'm not. And what do you care what I think? Do you care what I think? Do you care whether I think something's racist? Just tell me the frigging law. I promise, I will not, under any circumstances, call you racist. Right? Just right. Not that I care. Not that I want. I wonder why you care what I think. Forcing us to take a certain number of refugees. That's it. Yeah, I was about to say, We don't have to take. We can take in as many as we want. Are you trying to? Did you mean to write Hungary there? Or is that some, you know? Preventing terrorism is the #1 concern. Oh, and terrorism is a cause of refugees. Okay, that's not you're ignoring. Don't let him change the subject. He's trying to change the subject, right? The question was regarding refugees. The EU doesn't, you know. If they're legit, oh, most of them aren't. Oh, and you know this, do you? Okay, again, you're ignoring the points that are being made. The EU does not force us to take refugees. Those refugees will still exist, and we can still make a decision as to how many we do, you know. And who are you to say which ones are legit or not? Well, these people just fucking, you know, risk their life and limb to get over here, just, you know, for no reason whatsoever. I think that's certain, John. But let's stick to the fact. Let's stick to the issue. EU punishes how? How do they punish you? What's the punishment, Jesus? What punishment do they? Do they? What? You know, what's the punishment we would face? No, he wants to say they do. Fine. What's the punishment? If we didn't take in enough, what's the punishment? Hold on, he's just on InfoWars looking this up. Give him a minute, he's Googling. Thoughts on Maoism, irrelevant. Can we stick to the subject? Yeah. No direct punishment. No direct punishment, but just little passive aggressive. Oh, little passive aggressive things. Like, so there's no punishment. They just sneer at you. Like, again, what passive aggressive things make it difficult for? What passive aggressive? If it makes it difficult for you, then it is a direct punishment, right? You just said there's no direct punishment. So what have they done to make it more difficult? Or what would they have done? Because apparently they didn't. But what would they have done? I'm gonna wait. He didn't say tariffs. No, he didn't say tariffs. He said, what he said was, he said they do passive aggressive things that make it difficult for you. He said there's no direct. In Sweden for 3 months, 100% of. Oh, I see. Let's change the subject now, shall we? You want to change the subject to something else because that's literally nothing to do with anything with the question that was being asked. So for Sweden, for 3 months, 100% of rape. Not a single white man committed a single rape. Yeah, I can look that up. I can look up anything. Look up shape-shifting lizards from outer space control the planet. You can look that up too. What passive-aggressive things did the EU do that made it more difficult for you for not taking in refugees? Answer the question. If you can't answer the question, you might. No, he just said, Red Moon, there's no direct punishment. He said they do passive-aggressive things that can make it more difficult for you as a country. I'm now asking him to tell me what those things are. If you can't answer and you have to keep changing the subject, then you might want to ask yourself why that is. I have to go now, pick up laundry. I'll be back. No, Jesus, you won't. Do you know why? Right? Because, I've given you every, I've let you sit in here. I haven't fucking called you, I haven't called you a racist. I haven't called you, I haven't prescribed any pejorative term to you, right? Right? I've asked you to simply justify the things you say, and you haven't done that, and you can't do it. All you do is obfuscate, deflect, change the subject, and then when backed into a corner like you are now, you have to go pick up laundry. Right? All of a sudden. But when you come back, I'm still going to ask you the same question. Don't think that if you come back later that I'm going to fucking forget. I don't let people fucking lead me round a fucking garden path. Hold on. By the way, I googled, Sweden, Sweden 3 months rapes Muslims immigrants, and nothing came up. Just in case anyone's interested in, Okay, hold on. So I'm just preparing, getting back some of my bookmark things in just here for the. Right. Hello. Is anyone still there? If anyone's typing anything, then the chat seems to have frozen because I can't see. Oi, what you kick it off for? And to answer your question, about Roth, the reason North Africa is not in the EU is because it's part of Africa, not Europe. Sort of general rule, of being part of the European Union is you have to sort of be in Europe. Yeah, if you're not in Europe, then you can't be part of the Europe. That's why Africa is not part of it. Yeah. Yeah, my cleaning lady left me a note the other day. It said bipolar. I thought that's, yeah, it's very good. It's very nice of her. Yeah.